Very good evening to all of you once again. In this video, we are going to discuss about the transmission of impulses. Transmission of impulses from one neuron to another neuron. So, we will see how this impulse is. We have already talked about how impulse is generated and conducted across the axon. When it reaches to the axon terminal, what happens? There will be another neuron present, and the dendrite of the another neuron will be there to receive that impulse. So, how these impulses transmit from one neuron to another neuron? That is what we are going to study in this video. First of all, the impulse transmits from one neuron to the next neuron by the junction called synapses or synapses, whatever you call it. And this synapse is of two types. First is the electrical synapse, and second is the chemical synapse, electrical and chemical. So synapse, what is synapse? Synapse is made up of three things. First is the synaptic knob, the membrane of the presynaptic neuron. This is the membrane of presynaptic neuron. Presynaptic neuron membrane. Okay. And suppose this is the membrane of the postsynaptic neuron here. This way. This is the membrane of post, which is going to receive the signal. The postsynaptic neuron membrane. Neuron membrane. So we will see how electrical synapse are passes. First of all, uh, and these membranes have the synaptic cleft. Synaptic cleft. But what happens in electrical synapse? These membranes are so much close together. So there will be not so much of space between two synapses. They are very closed in electrical synapse. So the impulse which comes to the um, terminal, axon terminal, which directly transmits towards the next neuron. So because the two membranes, presynaptic and postsynaptic neurons are very close, so the impulse which was in electrical form, it remains electrical during the transmission. So that's what electrical synapses. They are very faster than chemical synapses. But although they are very rare, but there are some electrical synapses which are having uh, which are not having the synaptic cleft or very reduced synaptic cleft. They will have, and the electrical signal will directly transmit from one neuron to another neuron in electrical synapses. What happens in chemical synapse? Suppose this is the membrane of the presynaptic neuron, and this is the membrane of postsynaptic neuron. Postsynaptic neuron has some receptors here in chemical synapse, sorry. And the impulse which comes at the axon terminal, what happens? Here are some vesicles present with some chemicals called neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters. And in chemical synapse, there is much more space present between two neurons than electrical synapse. The space is filled with fluid, and this space is called synaptic cleft. Synaptic cleft. It's a fluid filled cavity present between two membranes. So what happens when impulse comes to the axon terminal? It stimulates the secretion of these neurotransmitters from this neuron to this neuron. So these vesicles will fuse with the plasma membrane and they will release neurotransmitters here in the synaptic cleft. And these neurotransmitters will be received by the receptors present on the postsynaptical membrane. And this will stimulate, or we can say, this will stimulate the influx of ions, Na plus ions inside the cell. Membrane will become depolarized, and the new impulse will generated in the next neuron. So there are some chemicals involved. That's why these synapses called chemical synapses. They are neurotransmitters. These are neurotransmitters are present in the chemical synapse. These synapses are slower than electrical synapses, but they are much more in quantity. So this is, guys, this is how the synapse works, and synapse structure is present inside your neural system, that is chemical and electrical. It is just the junction between between two adjacent neurons. Okay, I hope it is clear. We will meet in the next video by studying some more topics related to brain. So before that, before you go, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends. Thank you so much.